Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Hope you are doing good in this holy month of Ramadan. Today let me teach you about an important topic, that is the circulatory system. The circulatory system consists of the central pump, that's called the heart, and the attached continuous network of tubes called those are the blood vessels, and this heart and the attached continuous network of tubes is called a cardiovascular system. Cardio means heart and vascular means vessels, so it constitutes the cardiovascular system. The main organ of the circulatory system is the heart, which is the central pump. It is located in the thoracic cavity behind the sternum. So it contracts and relaxes around 75 times per minute. That's around 4,500 beats an hour and more than 1 lakh beats a day. So this heart, it continuously pumps the blood throughout all the tissues present in our body. So this heart, it's actually by the contraction and the relaxation of the heart wall, the chambers of the heart, they get contracted and relaxed. So heart wall that surrounds all the 4 chambers of the heart, it is 3-layered. This heart wall is 3-layered. One is the first one is endocardium, and then another one is myocardium, then another one is epicardium. The endocardium is the thin layer of endothelium, which it lines the chambers from the inner side. It lines the chambers, all the 4 chambers. Then second layer, that's called the myocardium. Myocardium is a thick middle layer, and it constitutes the cardiac muscles. It is the thick middle layer from here inside, and it constitutes the cardiac muscles. Those cardiac muscles, they get branched, they have a large number of the branches, and those branches, they form the junctions with each other, and those junctions are called intercalated discs. And these intercalated discs, they help to transmit the electrical impulse throughout the heart and help the heart to contract as a single system. Then there is a third layer called the epicardium. Epicardium is a thin and a moist layer of epithelium. It is just in contact with the myocardium, in tight contact with the myocardium. And this epicardium, it has an extension. That extension forms a sac-like structure around the whole heart, and that is called the pericardium. And this pericardium, it covers the heart, it protects the heart from the mechanical injuries and the shocks. This pericardium, and in between this pericardium and the epicardium, there is a space called the pericardial space. Here I have it is shown. It is the pericardium, and this is the space. This is called pericardial space. This pericardial space is filled with a fluid called the pericardial fluid, and that pericardial fluid, it will act as a lubricating fluid, and it will not let the heart collapse. Because the heart continuously contracts and relaxes, so that time this fluid, it will act as a lubricant, and it will help reducing the friction. It will help to reduce the friction, so heart will not get collapsed or injured. Any sort of the inflammation to this pericardium, that will give rise to the abnormal condition called the pericarditis, and that will not let the heart to function normally and usually, and that needs the medical attention. So it was about the walls of the heart. We'll talk about the chambers of the heart. So there are 4 chambers in our heart, 4 separate chambers. The upper 2 chambers, they are called the atria. This is right atria and this is left atria, or they are also called as auricles. And the lower 2 chambers, they are called the ventricles. This is right ventricle, and this one is the left ventricle. So this heart, it is a single organ, but still it functions as 2 different pumps. So because this right side of the heart, it will pump the blood to lungs, but the left side of the heart, it will pump blood to all the tissues of the body. And the right side of the heart, it pumps the deoxygenated blood to lungs, and then the left side of the heart, it will pump the oxygenated blood to all the tissues of the body. This heart, these chambers, the right side and the left side, they are separated. They are separated by a muscular partition. Here, this one is called a septum. This septum, it divides the heart into two halves. This is right side and this is the left side of the heart. Now, the left ventricle, this left ventricle, it has the thicker myocardium. Why? Because it has to pump the blood to the whole length of the body. So it has a thick myocardium. It needs to generate more pressure. That's why it has thick myocardium. Now there are heart valves. The heart valves are actually the flap-like structures which are present between the there are two sets of the heart valves. One set is present between auricles and ventricles, right auricle and right ventricle, then left auricle and left ventricle, and those valves are called as the atrioventricular valves. And then second set of the valves that is present just at the place where the ventricles are connected with the arteries, and at those places the valves present, they are called the semilunar valves. And these semilunar valves, they do not let the blood to flow back into the heart. Now, coming towards this atrioventricular valve, which is in between the right auricle and the right ventricle, it has got three flaps or three cusps. That's why it is called a tricuspid valve. And this one on the left side, which connects the left auricle and the left ventricle, it has two cusps or two valves. So it's called a bicuspid valve, or it is also called as the mitral valve. So now, now about the second set of the valves, that is the semilunar valve. There are two semilunar valves. One semilunar valve is the pulmonary semilunar valve, and another one is aortic semilunar valve. The pulmonary semilunar valve is present. It is present in the just at the place where the pulmonary trunk it is connected with the right ventricle, so it does not let the blood to flow back into the right ventricle once the blood is pushed towards the lungs, the deoxygenated blood. And the aortic semilunar valve is present here. It is present at the base of the aorta. It does not let the blood, oxygenated blood, to flow back into the left ventricle. These semilunar valves are just like they resemble the shape of the half moon. So they resemble the shape of the half moon, and these valves, this tricuspid and bicuspid valves, they are connected deep into the ventricles by means of the cord-like structures. They are called chordae tendineae. They are called the chordae tendineae. These chordae tendineae, they hold these valves tight so that they will not, at the time of the contraction of the ventricles, these valves get closed and they will not let the blood flow back into the auricles. So if any defect in these valves, they will leak the blood at the time of the contraction, and that will produce a swishing sound, and that needs a replacement of the valves by the artificial valves. So it was all about the valves.